Hey everybody, Steve here from Steve's Garage. Welcome back to another episode of What the Hell Are We Doing Now? And I got no clue. Anyway, you know my friend Earl, who's a certified automotive technician, and I'm just certifiable. So anyway, beautiful day here in Western Mass. It's a hot one. It's like 80, 90 degrees. We got thunderstorms coming. I'm inside the shop. I got all the doors closed to keep it cool. And don't tell anybody, but I got an air conditioner running, which I like. Anyway, we're nice and cool inside here. Big news, we are almost done with the frame. I've got a couple small items to do. All the brakes are done. I put in new master cylinders. All the brake lines are run. The power brakes are in. I found a part for my intake on the engine so I can have a vacuum to run the power brakes. So everything just came together cool. I did the emergency brake yesterday, and I'm going to show you the whole emergency brake system and go over that with you. I just got that painted this morning. It's already 3 o'clock, and I don't know where the days go. People say, hey, what are you doing when you're retired? And I'm like, I don't know what happens, but the days go by like unbelievably fast. And of course, with that 3-hour nap, it speeds things up. So anyway, don't tell anyone, Earl. So let me show you what we got going on here. So here's our frame. I got it jacked up off the ground so it was easier. I took all the hubs off and put brand new wheel cylinders in there, and everything for the brake system is new. It's oiled. We've got the adjusters on every rim has an adjuster for the front and rear shoe, and they're adjusted as low as they can be set. So there's still just a little bit of drag on there. So we have tons of room for future adjustment. And of course, this will be a low mile car, like all of them. I mean, how many can you drive in a day? And so we've got the power brake system on here. All our lines are run. This is for our inline switch for the brake lights. And this pedal, I got a rubber mount here I was waiting on for the clutch. And now, as you can see, this is high. I'm going to cut this down and get this all so everything's in line here. And we got plenty of room for the brake to move by the motor. So we haven't bled the brakes yet. We put everything in and bled them the first time. Then when I found out I had a bad wheel cylinder, so I replaced them all. I did install these shocks on here, and they're going to work more like a sway bar than a shock. So it'll give my side-to-side motion. It'll keep that in check, and that's it. Everything's in good shape here. So let me show you the emergency brake setup. And I'm going to put the lever on right now, and then we will show you the Clevis and everything that I did to get that going. Okay, so I renovated the original handbrake, and I got it all painted up. So we're going to put this in place now. It's actually still a little tacky. Not unlike most of my outfits of the 70s. And so let's get this cranked on. 9/16. So we'll set that as far back as it can go. All right, now we're going to get down underneath and show you what's going on there. All right, so we're underneath the car, and what I'm showing you is This is the Clevis here, the round bar that pins through, and my cable, if you can follow that all the way down to the wheel, comes around through, and it's one solid cable. You can see it down to the brake hub right there, the brake drum. So being a single solid cable really worked in my favor, because I got this Clevis here, and then so it adjusts right here. I can put more adjustment if need be on it. Then I've got more adjustment right here in this long nut, and then this piece here I had in the shop, and this is off of a spare part in the brake pedal assembly if you were going through your Firewall and into the reservoir directly. So that was a part that, I'm not doing it that way, so I didn't need that. And luckily for me, the threads all worked here. So this is just like Yankee ingenuity throwing this together, but tons of threads in here, tons of threads in here. This is threaded in about 3/4 of an inch. So this is very strong. Everything's tightened down. Then when it came to this part, this is old Henry Ford, because when I took all the mechanical brakes off, it had all these different parts. So this is the original to the brake, as you can see, that we just put on, right? And then this is a Henry Ford from the mechanical brakes, but had this nice little section which pinned through with a cotter pin. Worked very well for me, and I cut that 10.5 inches, and this is a sleeve here. So I literally, this piece and this piece here, I ground almost to a point, and I welded them together, then ground that down, slid this sleeve over the weld, and then I welded it here and here all the way around. So this bar here is triple welded in the center and on both ends of the sleeve. That will never go anywhere. So I couldn't be happier with this emergency brake setup, because this is something that I literally, laid awake thinking about, and sometimes you do these things, all of a sudden you find out that something you pondered over for the longest time, when you come to do it, it went together like in an hour, or less than that. So I couldn't be happier. I'm going to show you how it operates when I get off from under this car, and I'm going to shut the camera off for a second. I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, so it took me 4 hours to get out from under the car, and here I am. So here is our emergency brake setup. You can see where we were just talking about with that old Henry Ford connection, which is good steel, and then goes underneath to that Clevis back there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is all the gears. It clicks down here and pull that onto place, and just want a few clicks. And as you can see, the wheel does not move at all. Running it hard, and plenty of room for adjustment. So this is your thumb lever up here. Pull it back, push in, let the brake off, and then now the wheels are spinning freely. And everything I did was, I greased all the internal. These have bearings that are like 3 inches wide, or they're big bearings inside these wheels, and they're in great shape. I cranked everything with grease, so everything got greased, oiled, and I couldn't be happier. To get to this point, it's like a year and like 4 months, and seems like a long time, but man, there was a lot of work in this sucker, and I'm very happy with it. So now we're on to the point where I want to paint this front wall of the body, because I want this is behind the engine, so I want this painted before I put the body on, because I'm really ready to get the body on here. All I have to do is bleed the brakes on this thing here, and cut that. I want to cut that brake pedal down, and put my gas pedal linkage on. So any of you who haven't seen this body yet, the back of it is really the money shot on this thing, and I just can't wait to see it back on the car, and that's how close we are. So I couldn't be happier. I've got a couple different ideas. I think I want to do a little bit of a change on the windshield. I'm thinking that I want the windshield a little steeper, right here. I think I want to take an 1.5 inches probably off the top of that, so the windshield's a little steeper. But until I put my forms in there, I've got plywood forms, patterns I want to see. So what we're going to do now is, I did have a hole through here, and these I believe were for the old heating, the inline heaters they had on these motors that went over the top of the manifold here. And I don't think this manifold accepted one, but they had aluminum manifolds, and they had I think it was an aluminum cover, and that cover went into the car right through the firewall there, and that was your heat. So I'm going to get this set up, and what I did here was, sorry about that, I'm trying to get better with the camera work, guys, but so much going on, my head's spinning a mile a minute here. So what I did here was, this was where it came through the wall, and this was for the old heater, I'm sure of it. So I made a little pattern there of a piece of steel. This is 16 gauge steel, which is 1/16 of an inch. And I just got a nice little magnet and put it in place here. And I'm going to weld this in. So just want to make sure it fits in all areas. A little air, the weld will fill in between there. We'll have good penetration, as they call it. Everybody likes good penetration. Wink, wink, nod, nod. All right, here we go. That's enough of my horrible humor. Whoop! Let's get it set up. We'll get this thing welded in. You want to weld where you're most flush first, and then you can tap it into place as you go with a body hammer. go too much so I don't get that too hot and get things warped up, you know what I mean? So for right now, that's in place. I'll weld all around here, grind it down. And this is the part that's behind the engine. So that had a bunch of crap on it. I still got to sand it up a little bit, clean it before I prime it. And like I said, I'm going to paint this Firewall, and then we'll put it on the car. I can tape this section off and paint the body. I have to finish sanding the body down. The body is only primed. It is not blocked, sanded yet. So got a lot to do on that yet. And that's that. So I guess that's it for now. We are, I've got to move on to, I've got to rebuild this water pump. I've got a rebuild kit right under it there. It's a rebuild kit. There it is there, the stuff. I've got parts kind of everywhere. This is the steering wheel, and I've got to clean up the whole steering box and go through that and get it all adjusted so there's no movement in it. This is a catch-all of stuff, which I'm looking for brake parts. Everyone's got a couple buckets of that around, and that's it. So on behalf of me and old Earl, thank you very much. We're moving forward. Looking forward to having you come back. And I'm going to keep moving on that body, get the last couple things done in here. And I think our next video is going to be putting the body on the Model A Roadster / Duesenberg look-alike Frankenstein. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a great day. Stay out of the rain, and I'll see y'all soon. Take care.